A ghost ship, or phantom ship, is a vessel found adrift without any living crew on board. It can be a legendary spectral ship, like the Flying Dutchman, or a real, abandoned vessel discovered with its crew missing or deceased, such as the Mary Celeste. The Flying Dutchman is arguably the most famous ghost ship ever sighted. According to legend, this Dutch man-of-war was condemned to sail the seas for eternity. The first recorded mention of the ship dates back to 1790 in the memoirs of Scottish adventurer John MacDonald, who recounted his 30 years at sea. The ship became associated with violent storms. MacDonald noted that his crew reported seeing the Flying Dutchman during fierce weather. Accounts from the 18th and 19th centuries suggest that the ship's crew had committed a grave but unspecified crime, and were cursed with plague, barred from entering any port. Some versions claim the reckless captain made a pact with the devil, while others say the ship sank after the captain attempted to round South Africa's Cape of Good Hope during a storm, dooming his crew to sail that route forever. Legends also tell of ghostly letters the crew tried to pass to other sailors, pleading for them to deliver messages to loved ones. However, those who accepted these letters were said to suffer misfortune afterward. Sailors also believed that sighting the Flying Dutchman foretold imminent disaster. In 1881, the future King George V of Britain reportedly saw the ship on his journey to Australia. The log of the HMS Inconstant records that shortly afterward, a crewman fell from the mast to his death. Another early sighting of a ghost ship occurred in 1786 off Prince Edward Island, Canada. During a storm, the wardens at Seacow Head Lighthouse reported seeing a ship heading toward dangerous rocks, only for it to vanish before crashing. Since then, numerous sightings of the ghost ship of Northumberland Strait have been reported between Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick, often preceding a storm. Witnesses describe the ship moving at great speed, either completely engulfed in flames or with only its rigging ablaze. In 1900, after one such sighting, a rescue boat was launched, but no trace of the ship was ever found. Many ghost ship legends are linked to historical shipwrecks, including the tale of the Lady Lovibond, a legendary schooner said to have wrecked on the Goodwin Sands off the Kent coast in southeast England on February 13, 1748. According to legend, it reappears every 50 years as a ghost ship. Captain Simon Reed, who had recently married, defied sailors' superstition that bringing a woman on board was bad luck by inviting his bride, Annetta, on the voyage. The ship's first mate, John Rivers, who also loved Annetta, was overcome with jealousy. While the captain and his guests celebrated below deck, Rivers allegedly struck down the crew member at the wheel and steered the ship onto the dangerous Goodwin Sands, resulting in the deaths of everyone aboard. Sightings of the Lady Lovibond were reported on February 13 in 1798, 1848, and 1948. In the latter sighting, Captain Bull Prestwick described the ship as appearing real but glowing with an eerie white light. However, no sightings were reported in 1998. Off the coast of southern Chile, in the Chiloé archipelago, another legendary phantom ship called El Kalush is said to sail between the islands with glowing lights and sounds of laughter and revelry echoing from its deck. Some legends say the ship was created by an indigenous god to gather the spirits of those who drowned at sea, while others claim it is captained by an evil sorcerer seeking to ensnare unwary sailors. A notable parallel between ghost ships and ghost lights can be found with the Palatine Light. In 1738, the Princess Augusta, also known as the Palatine, ran aground in the perilous waters off Rhode Island, USA, carrying around 340 emigrants from Germany's Palatine region. Locals reported hearing screams and seeing the ship engulfed in flames, a vision that has allegedly reappeared numerous times, now known as the Palatine Lights phenomenon. In addition to the Palatine Lights, the fireship of Baie de Chaleurs is a ghost light seen near Bathurst, New Brunswick, Canada. This unusual phenomenon resembles a blazing three-masted galley, similar to the ship on New Brunswick's provincial flag. Similarly, after the American schooner Young Teaser exploded and sank in Mahone Bay, Nova Scotia, during the War of 1812, witnesses reported a burning apparition known as the Teaser Light. The next story is not that of a ghost ship, but more accurately ghost lifeboats. The SS Valencia, a passenger steamer, met a tragic fate on January 22, 1906, when it struck a reef off the coast of Vancouver Island during a storm. The ship was en route from San Francisco to Seattle, carrying more than 100 passengers and crew. Struggling in the fierce waters near the treacherous Juan de Fuca Strait, the ship quickly began to sink. In desperation, the crew deployed lifeboats, but many capsized in the rough seas. Only 37 people were ultimately rescued, while an estimated 136 souls perished. After the disaster, strange sightings began to emerge, with sailors and fishermen reporting ghostly lifeboats adrift near the wreck site, seemingly piloted by skeletal figures. These apparitions were said to silently row toward the shore, only to vanish mysteriously before reaching land. In a particularly eerie twist, one of the Valencia's lifeboats was discovered floating in a nearby cave years later, completely intact, yet eerily empty. This lifeboat, preserved and undamaged despite the years, added to the belief that the ship and her passengers might never have fully left the waters where they met their tragic end. The term ghost ship can also describe real vessels with mysterious fates. One of the most famous cases is the American merchant ship Mary Celeste, which set sail from New York bound for Italy in 1872, only to be found adrift a few weeks later near the Azores. The last log entry had been made 10 days earlier, the rigging was in poor condition, and the lifeboat was missing, yet the cargo and supplies were intact. There was no indication of why the crew might have abandoned the ship, and they were never seen again. Another fascinating story is that of the SS Ourang Medan. The most intriguing account surfaced in 1947 or 1948, when it was reported that two American vessels, the City of Baltimore and the Silver Star, were passing through the Straits of Malacca and received distress signals from the Ourang Medan. A Morse code message from the ship's radio operator stated, "SOS. From Ourang Medan. We float. All officers, including the captain, dead in chart room and on the bridge. Probably whole of crew dead," the final message chillingly concluded with, "I die." The Silver Star crew found the Ourang Medan seemingly undamaged and boarded it, only to discover the bodies of the crew frozen in terrified expressions, lying on their backs with mouths open and eyes staring upward. No visible injuries were found, and even the carcass of a dog lay among the dead. As the Silver Star attempted to tow the Ourang Medan, a fire suddenly broke out in the No. 4 cargo hold, forcing the rescue team to evacuate. Moments later, the Ourang Medan exploded and sank. Some versions of the story mention an unnamed German survivor who claimed that poisonous fumes from a cargo of oil of vitriol, sulfuric acid, had killed the crew. From the timeless legend of the Flying Dutchman to the urban myth of the SS Ourang Medan, these stories offer a glimpse into the supernatural mysteries that surround the sea. The spirits of those lost in shipwrecks and disasters appear forever bound to their watery graves.